She became in the middle of a Zoom meeting, smiling, sharing slides, not anything unusual. Then, out of nowhere, she paused, seemed over her shoulder, and vanished. No scream, no caution, and sure, the camera was still recording. What it captured would go away absolutely everyone speechless. It was speculated to be an ordinary Friday assembly. A handful of co-workers from a small virtual advertising company in Portland, Oregon, gathered without a doubt, like that they had completed dozens of times before. One of them became 29 to 12 months old Elisa Cartwright, a quiet but sharp associate who had these days been promoted. Her condo, a neat one-bedroom at the 0.33 ground of a modest complex, served as both her domestic and workspace. She logged into Zoom at precisely 3 p.m. The meeting started out with traditional chatter, weekend plans, client updates, and moderate complaints, approximately the latest software program in sex. Nothing out of the regular. 13 minutes in, the tone shifted. Elisa's eyes darted off screen. At first, it gave the impression of a harmless distraction, maybe a knock on the door or a neighbor taking walks past her window. But then she tilted her head, listening closely, and her expression tightened. She muted her microphone, were given up from her chair, and said, "Hold on, guys, a person's at my door." She walked out of body, and in no way returned. For the primary short time, her absence barely registered. People assumed it become a package deal or a neighbor. Someone even joked, "What if she's being kidnapped proper now?" Nervous laughter followed, but the temper fast darkened while the camera, still running, shifted. Not by using a great deal, just a moderate nudge to the left. It changed into subtle, like something or a person had brushed beyond the table. Moments later, a faint shadow moved across the background. It became quick, infrequently seen. However, it didn't match anything inside the room. Then got here a gentle thud, like something falling or being dropped. After that, silence. Elisa never came again into body. Her microphone remained muted. Her camera stayed on, empty. By 3:35 p.m., concern set in. Jake Harrison, one of her co-workers, sent her a Slack message. "Everything okay?" No respond. He referred to as her cell phone. It rang, then went to voicemail. Another colleague, Dana Singh, attempted texting her. Nothing. At 3:49 p.m., their manager, Sarah Lopez, called 911 and stated that an employee had left a Zoom name mid-assembly and hadn't lower back. She stated the unusual shadow, the digital camera movement, and that Elisa's telephone wasn't responding. The dispatcher filed it as a welfare take a look at. Portland police arrived at Elisa's apartment simply after 4 p.m. The door turned into unlocked. Inside, nothing seemed out of area in the beginning. Her PC became still open, nonetheless strolling Zoom. The meeting had ended automatically whilst the final participant left. Her smartphone, keys, and purse have been all interior. Her footwear have been smartly located via the door. No signs of compelled access, no damaged glass, no blood. It changed into as though she had truly walked out and never got here, returned. But one component stood out. Her Wi-Fi router turned into unplugged. Detectives reviewed the Zoom recording that nighttime. They analyzed the moment Elisa left her seat. The short shadow, the extraordinary camera motion, and the thud. The timestamp at the footage showed that the entirety went wrong at precisely 3:18:42 p.m. That changed into additionally the last moment her tool maintained a strong internet connection, supporting the theory that the router had been manually unplugged at that second. The pictures quickly made its manner online. While the police never launched it formally, a display recording from one of the co-workers was leaked. Within 24 hours, the case went viral. Reddit threads, TikTok breakdowns, and YouTube conspiracy videos flooded the net. Some users zoomed in body by body to analyze the shadow. Others speculated wildly, some blaming human traffickers, others believing it changed into a tech glitch hiding something sinister. One clip displaying the brief flash of the hand accomplishing in the direction of Elisa's webcam was performed thousands and thousands of times. People claimed to see a scar, a hoop, even a face contemplated in the display, but the video was too blurry to verify whatever. Then got here, a spoil inside the case. Detectives pulled security footage from the rental complex. One digital camera, established close to the east stairwell, struck a person entering the constructing at 3:14 p.m. He became sporting a darkish hoodie and a black backpack. He didn't use the elevator. He took the steps. Building management first of all assumed he changed into a delivery employee. However, no packages have been registered to be dropped off at that point. More importantly, that man became never visible exiting the building. No cameras captured him leaving with the aid of the front door, lower back door, or garage. 3 days later, a neighbor got here ahead. She told police she had seen a man wearing something big, like a rolled-up carpet or blanket, down the emergency stairwell at the back of the building around 3:30 p.m. She conceived it become abnormal, however, didn't assume it was extreme until she noticed the information. That tip led investigators to check a lesser-used digital camera going through the rear alley. The pictures turned into grainy, however it confirmed someone exiting via the emergency stairwell, carrying a big package deal. The man or woman positioned it into an automobile, a dark-colored van, and not using a registration code visible, and drove away. Fingerprints from Elisa's rental door led to a suit. Mason Delacroix, a 36-year-old former maintenance worker at the condominium complex. He had been fired 6 months in advance after a couple of proceedings from citizens, which include one from Elisa, who accused him of making irrelevant remarks and loitering near her door. Mason had a prior document, such as stalking and trespassing prices. He had once been institutionalized in short for psychiatric evaluation, however, had in no way been formally identified. When police tracked him down, he became residing in an old camper van at the outskirts of the city. Inside, they determined surveillance equipment, gloves, duct tape, and chillingly, Elisa's smartwatch. Her DNA became later observed in the again of the van. During the interrogation, Mason became eerily calm at the beginning. He denied understanding Elisa, then claimed he had simplest been within the building to see and vintage Buddy. But while detectives showed him the Zoom footage and the constructing surveillance, his tale fell apart. His reaction became quick. "She didn't even scream," he stated. "She simply stared at me like she knew it was coming." When asked why he did it, he mumbled something approximately being left out and needing to be seen. He admitted to loosening the window lock weeks in advance, while he nonetheless had keys to the unit. He waited for the right second, while she could be home, distracted, prone. He had watched her schedule for weeks. That day, he slipped in, disconnected her Wi-Fi to avoid digital signals, and took her. 10 days after her disappearance, Mason led government to a faraway wooded vicinity in Forest Park. There, beneath a shallow grave, police recovered Elisa's body. The purpose of dying turned into decided to be asphyxiation. She had fought, however, now, not loudly. There have been signs and symptoms of restraint, but no shielding wounds, leading detectives to accept as true with she have been stuck completely off shield. The aftermath of Elisa's case rippled a long way past her rental constructing. Her co-workers, who had witnessed part of the incident in actual time, struggled with intense trauma. One stopped their process. Another began remedy for tension and insomnia. The enterprise issued new safety protocols for far-flung employees and mandated virtual safety trainings. National media picked up the case, and within weeks, it became a cautionary story in cybersecurity forums and HR circles. Experts began discussing the mental results of witnessing real global violence through digital screens. In particular, whilst there's nothing you could do to stop it, the internet too performed a powerful role. While online speculation often spirals into chaos, in this situation, it helped observe public strain, flaw suggestions, and preserve the tale alive till Mason changed into court. But it also exposed a darkish fact. Within the digital age, horror doesn't just happen in darkish alleyways or deserted homes. It can show up in complete view, mid-communique, even as you're looking a person directly within the eyes through a display screen. Elisa's family later released a foundation in her name, centered on online safety, stalking recognition, and virtual self-protection. Her tale continues to be shared, no longer just as a tragedy, however, as a stark reminder that even in our maximum linked moments, we may be exceedingly inclined. In court docket, Mason Delacroix showed no remorse. During his arraignment, he saved his head down, barely acknowledging the judge or Elisa's grieving parents seated in the front row. Prosecutors pushed for the maximum penalty, arguing that the act became premeditated, calculated, and completed with chilling precision. Mason's protection team attempted to signify diminished mental ability, bringing up his previous psychiatric maintain and erratic behavior. But a court-appointed psychologist, the jury deliberated for less than 4 hours. He changed into convicted on all counts, inclusive of first-degree homicide, kidnapping, and burglary, and turned into sentence to lifestyles without the possibility of parole. Elisa's circle of relatives spoke on the sentencing, their voices shaking as they addressed each Mason and the courtroom. Her mother described the horror of watching her daughter disappear in real time, helpless to intervene, knowing something become wrong but not able to reach her. Her father, via tears, said, "The display was nonetheless on. We were nonetheless looking at her room, but she became already long gone." Their words resonated with thousands and thousands online, as clips from the trial circulated across systems, reigniting conversations approximately the dangers of virtual isolation and online surveillance. In the weeks following the verdict, administrative center protection specialists commenced re-evaluating how far away employees are protected. Some agencies began implementing panic buttons and emergency response features inside video conferencing equipment. Others started out presenting digital self-protection education, coaching employees the way to apprehend stalking behaviors, record suspicious pastime, and guard their online presence. While these steps had been small, they marked a shift in how society considered the blurred line among bodily and virtual protection. What made Elisa's case even more impactful was how regular the whole thing seemed, proper up until the instant it wasn't. Her table became tidy. Her espresso was nonetheless heat. Her PowerPoint changed into half-finished. There was no chaos, no dramatic struggle, simply silence. That's what made it so haunting. It wasn't simply that she vanished, it's that she vanished whilst being watched. That consciousness struck a nerve with audiences around the arena, particularly as so many had grown used to spending their lives on Digicam, operating, learning, even socializing, without ever imagining that someone may want to use that camera towards them. Elisa's tale stays one of the most surprising cases of our digital age. A case in which technology each captured the crime and did not prevent it. A moment frozen in pixels, in which actual horror spread out at some stage in a normal Zoom call. It reminded the arena that sometimes the scariest moments aren't the ones we imagine in the dark. They're the ones that unfold in real time, whilst the whole lot feels secure. In a world in which our lives are increasingly lived online, Elisa's story is a tragic, however critical caution. Constantly be aware of what's behind the display and who might be looking from the shadows. Have you ever visible something bizarre occur at some stage in a video call? Let us realize in the feedback. And in case you revel in actual lifestyles, crime memories like this, don't neglect to subscribe, due to the fact the following case is even greater stunning.